Brian here from Gays with Kids. I'm excited to be here tonight, and I hope you stick around. We've got a great Instagram Live coming up. We're going to talk to a couple who are dads-to-be through adoption. In the meantime, I want to let you know, anyone who's watching who's not yet a dad and is thinking, I want to be a dad, I don't even know how to get started, what's the first thing I should do? Well, I tell you, the answer to that is schedule a call with me. I'd love to talk to you about how GWK Academy and I can support you on your journey. Hey, and here they are. Matt.
Hi.
How are you guys?
Good. How are you?
I'm great. It's good to see you.
It's good to see you too. We're so excited to be here.
And we're so excited to have you here. So it's been a while. You guys are from Tucson, Arizona, as I recall. Right?
Yeah, we are. Yeah, we're in a little suburb just northwest of Tucson called Miranda.
Cool. And you've been sharing your adoption journey with us, which we'd love to follow you along. It's been a couple of years now, and it's been a while since we caught up. So I'm so excited to do that with you now.
Yeah. It's been like a little over 2 years since we started this journey, and we've been, documenting it with Gays with Kids the whole time. So it's been quite the ride.
It has indeed. So why don't you catch us all up for those who are new to your story and are just meeting you now for the first time. First, tell us a little bit about you guys and your path to fatherhood that you chose and why and where you are today.
For sure. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, so hey everyone, this is Matt. So excited to be here with you all. I think, to your point, you kind of just said, when you were sharing a little bit about not really knowing where to begin, we did kind of seek a lot of guidance. When we first met, we knew that adoption was going to be, or at least starting a family was going to be very important to us, and having that conversation of adoption and choosing adoption was our path. And we started really just by exploring different resources to find education, pretty much any resource that we could find, whether it was a website or a blog or books, communicating with other parents and other adoptive families was a really great starting point for us. But that's where we started.
Yeah, and I'm Blake. We knew that adoption is different for everyone. So even when we kind of chose adoption as our chosen path towards parenthood, obviously we considered surrogacy, but we opted for adoption. We knew that there was no one answer of the question, how do you go about adoption? There's literally infinite answers. So we figured, let's talk to as many professionals as we possibly can. And that's where, you guys came in handy as a great resource and a great community of adoption professionals, other gay parents, just being a resource for us to go to with any questions that we have. But also, like I said, sharing our story along the way. We wanted to document our whole story for a couple of reasons. I mean, one was because we opted to go the route of independent adoption, which is choosing to not work with an agency. And the reason for that for us was really just for, cost saving reasons. And we're fortunate that in our state of Arizona, it's not an agency only state. So we could match through another adoption professional like an attorney. But that varies from state to state. So if you're watching this, obviously look at your local state laws. We were just fortunate enough that we knew that we could potentially match without the help of an agency, which, agencies are really costly. Now, again, knowing that we could possibly do it, that's a big if, and it's easier said than done. So again, we spent these past 2 years trying to match independently. And fortunately, in March of this year, we did, and we matched through our attorney here in Arizona.
So when you say you matched your attorney approached you and said, hey, I have someone who's a birth mom,
Yeah, she actually called us, and she had, the birth mom there in the office with her, and she had presented her with our profile book, our hard copy, and she, in her words, was just kind of sold and captivated by our book. And that kind of goes to show you the importance of that profile book and that first impression, because she kind of made up her mind before even talking to us. And then when our attorney called us and we got to kind of have that first introductory phone call, I think it wasn't helping her make her mind. It was kind of just solidifying the decision that she'd already made based off of our profile book.
That's a, so. So I'm a dad, 3 kids. Our oldest Levi, we found out about when he was 3 days old. Today he turned 14 2 days ago, and he's as big as.
Wow. Happy birthday, Levi.
Thank you. I'll share that with you. And then he has twin sisters born through surrogacy who are 12. And I back then we did hardcover books and profiles, and we sent them in the mail to people. I didn't realize that was still happening today. So
Yeah, and what's funny is part of the reason why we were so confident that we could match independently of an agency is that both of us work in marketing. We both, know the ins and outs of social media and Google SEO and all of that, branding, all of that. And that is so much of what the agencies do nowadays. It's kind of marketing you to help you find a birth mom. And so we exhausted a lot of efforts and resources, both time and money, in online advertising and marketing. And again, to my point earlier, that was also part of why we wanted to document our whole journey through Gays with Kids, is also to put our name and our faces out there, and hopefully someone would see it. What's funny is after 2 years of all of that online marketing and really pushing ourselves online, it was the hard copy book, the old school method that worked for us. But I mean, we'll take it.
Yeah. And I think too,
no,
sorry, go ahead.
I'd much rather hear from you.
Oh yeah, I was gonna just add on to what Blake was saying, in that our attorney was telling us that the reason why the hard copy books are so valuable is because when they're speaking with expectant mothers or potential expectant mothers, they're actually in their offices. They're it's a little bit more personal to hold something and like feel them and take your time with something, and maybe even take it home and look at it again later. And so that, I think, is such a huge plus to next to social media or like a website or something like that. Not to say that they're not hand in hand, but yeah.
Yeah, it's something tangible,
No, it's interesting. So I will say on GWK Academy, which we didn't launch until after you guys started your journey, and I'm hoping that people don't have to go on the web and go crazy. I've heard stories of people who are going down rabbit holes at 3 a.m. But we have, to be frank, we really focus on agency adoptions, and we're now looking to expand that so that people who come to GWK Academy have more options all spelled out for them. So yeah. It's great. And so it's great that we're able to share your story as part of that, as a bigger mix.
Absolutely.
So tell us now. So you said you met her in March.
Yeah.
How far away?
She's 26 weeks. We actually had a doctor's appointment this morning, and we're lucky again because we matched through a local resource. She's here in town. She lives like 40 minutes away from us. So we've been to every doctor's appointment since the day we matched, which at this point it's been about 2.5 months. Mm-hmm. So there's been a lot of doctor's appointments because it's twins. We're going every 2 weeks.
Yes, laid a big bomb for everyone. So it's twins.
Oh, surprise! What's funny? I did the same thing when I first called my mom, and I was telling my mom the news, and I was telling her the whole thing, and I was like, yeah, and the babies are due in August, and she was like, what? Babies? Yeah, it was so funny. But yeah, so surprise everyone, it's twins.
It's twins. So that's awesome. We know a couple other guys who adopted sets of twins. So did you knew that she was twins, obviously, from the get-go. Yeah. Had you told her, or had you guys talked about, like, in advance, like, what if there are twins?
Yeah, I mean, we in going through the entire process, anytime we were asked about preferences, whether it be like medical needs, whether it be gender, race, or multiples, we really were like, we have no preference. We will take any baby or babies. We just want to be dads. We really wanted to leave it open. Now, with that said, we always knew, like, okay, if someone comes to us and is like, hey, I'm having sextuplets, it's like, I really don't know, but we'll talk about it, We had definitely talked about the possibility of multiples. And for us, while, yes, it is terrifying, and we know that it is going to be a wild ride. First of all, we won't know any different. It's all we'll know. We won't have anything to compare it to. And second of all, we always knew that we wanted to have more than one kid. And so being able to kind of have a one and done, like, we don't have to worry about going through this again. Like I said before, with with so many same-sex couples who have to go through, whether it's adoption or surrogacy, whatever the family planning process is, like it is so expensive for us.
Right.
So the thought of having to, bring home a baby and then immediately start saving again for the next one, as opposed to saving for that baby's future, that was always in the back of our mind. So knowing that we just have to go through it this one time, we get to bring home 2 babies, they'll have each other, and okay, another big spoiler alert moment, it's a boy and a girl.
Oh.
So we get one of each, the best of both worlds. We don't have to wonder what it would be like to have the other. So we're very happy, and we know that this will be it for us.
But to your point, it was definitely a surprise. We always thought of it as being like such a, in a perfect world, it would be such a dream situation, twins. But yeah, we never were expecting that from when we got the first call.
Yeah.
It was a huge surprise.
And especially, the one of each gender really is amazing because, I think you kind of secretly wanted a boy and I secretly wanted a girl. And it's like now we both get what we want, but we also, I know, are both going to be so happy to have also gotten the other. So it's just all around, it really does feel like such a win for us.
I'm sure you've gotten tons of advice already about twins, because I heard you say something that sounded very smart, but the only person who could tell you that was that twins. And that's about, you won't know anything different. It's true. So our first was a Levi Singleton, and then we had twins.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, it was so challenging for us with the twins because we were used to doing the Singleton. And everyone I know had twins first. Even if they had another set of twins, it was like, not a big deal, because that's what they're used to. So,
exactly. Like our life is going to be turned upside down regardless. So yeah, we're going to be in such a fog and a haze. We won't know what's up, down, left, or right, but we won't know what is the other way either. So
I want to talk now more about, so clearly you're in an open adoption journey, which means that you and the birth mom know each other and you're forming a relationship. Have you talked about what comes after the birth yet? Do you mind sharing that? Because we've been talking a lot lately about open adoptions versus closed adoptions, et cetera.
Yeah, definitely. So having an open adoption was something that we always wanted. But of course, it's something that you kind of have to be flexible about, and you really have to gauge the birth mom or the birth family's comfort level. And you certainly can't force them to be in the baby's life after they give them up. So when we initially matched with the birth mom, she has other kids. She's a little bit older. This is her 6th pregnancy, and she's kept all of the other kids, and they range in age from like early 20s to her youngest is 3. And so she knew when she got pregnant right away that she couldn't have another one, but then when she found out she was twins, she was like, oh hell no. So anyways, so she has kids already, and so when we first matched with her, she kind of approached it like, I know that my other kids are going to want to have a relationship with these babies, but I'm not sure where I'm at yet. And so that was kind of where it stood in the beginning. And we were like, that's totally fine. Whoever on your family wants to be a part of their lives, our door will always be open. And same goes for you, whatever your comfort level is at any given time, we'll work with. Since then, we have formed the most incredible relationship with this woman. When I tell you, she's like one of our favorite people in the world. And not just because she's gifting us, with the most incredible gift, but truly she's just an amazing person. And like, we have a text thread and we text every single day. We text each other first thing in the morning, and we send each other photos throughout the day, not just of like the baby or baby related stuff, but like just what we're making for dinner that night or like what we're doing throughout the day. And we spent a lot of time with her. We celebrated Easter with her family. We celebrated Mother's Day with her and her mom. And so now that this relationship has really blossomed and flourished, she will absolutely be in these babies' lives. We actually asked her what she would want to be called by the babies, and we kind of had that whole conversation. We've talked about how we'll approach it with her younger kids, her 3-year-old, and she's already kind of started talking to him and explaining that these are Matt and Blake's babies, but it's going to be his brother and sister, and we'll all get to see each other. So as our relationship grew and flourished, that comfort level also did. And we say all the time, I mean, when we hang up the phone or when we text each other, we literally say, I love you. We are one big family now, and we know that moving forward, that's how it's going to be, you know? So if, I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, that definitely answers the question. So it does a lot. Thank you so much. That was great. I'm getting, as I said.
Brian, when I tell you how many times I've cried, like just out of sheer joy throughout this process, like I think I just will start thinking about how great she is and how lucky we are, and I burst into tears. So
No, it's so sweet. She actually texted us the other day of it was like a screenshot of a conversation she was having with her own family members about potentially doing a photo shoot with us and with her and the baby and her belly, and it was just so sweet to know that they're that comfortable and at the same level that we are, like in their own private moments.
Yeah, and they're celebrating this experience too. It's not something that they're sad about. They don't have to mourn the loss of anything because, and we literally talked about this today because we picked her up and took her to the doctor because she's, twins. She's just like, I don't want to drive. We get it. So we were just talking about it, and we were like, we're so lucky that we all get to move forward and have this new blended family. And she's constantly saying how grateful she is for us, but we're like, no, we're so grateful for you. And basically the door is just open for her to know that these babies will be taken care of and loved, and she'll always be a part of their lives. And I think that that's really special and unique to our situation, and it's not something that we take lightly at all.
It is truly awesome. And what I've been saying since I became a dad the first time, our kids can never have too many people in their lives who love them.
Exactly.
Absolutely. And both of us know that, we both come from big blended families. Both of us have adoption in our families. Both of us have, people that are
like family.
Yeah, that are like family, or people that like have been removed but stick around forever because you just love them so much. And so we know that, like you said, there's no such thing as too much love, too many family members.
All right, so that's really beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing all that.
Mm.
So tell me now, how are you preparing for twins?
Trying to sleep as much as possible.
Good,
yes. Good. Yeah, I mean, just getting as much advice as possible from everyone, but also taking all of that advice with a grain of salt and knowing that, every baby is different, and even these two babies are going to be so different.
Yeah, I think a lot of it too was a lot of the legwork. Obviously, in getting our home study completed, there's certain requirements needed. But we've had a nursery slowly being built the past 2 years, so we're slowly getting all of the necessities. Exactly.
Yeah. Well, and it's nice too, as we're kind of going through the list of everything that we need to get ready, we're like, oh, we did that 2 years ago. Oh, we bought that a year ago. Oh, we put that in the garage. It is a frustrating and daunting process for gay couples going through this because it can be so long and tedious, and you do feel like, gosh, I have to jump through so many hoops and prepare so much, and these straight couples are just finding out they're pregnant. It's not fair. But the flip side is, we feel so uber prepared now. We feel like we've read
almost too prepared.
We've read so many books. We've taken so many webinars. I feel like we've been pregnant for 2.5 years. So.
I'm going to offer you some unsolicited advice.
Please do.
Ready, which is the twins. They both eat and nap at the same time. Make sure that they.
Yeah,
that's great advice.
Yeah, that's what we've heard that a lot.
Yeah, but we're also, we're reading a lot of books now. We're at the point where we're reading okay, what to expect, leading up to delivery or the days after delivery. What is delivery day like, and the certain things.
That's actually a really interesting point. Like I said, our match situation is very unique in that we get to kind of walk hand in hand with birth mom through her pregnancy, and so many same-sex couples who adopt don't get to do that. They kind of just a lot of people don't even get to be there during the labor. Yeah, they get they get the babies afterwards. They don't get to experience all of these things that we're experiencing, and I think that was kind of just the assumed norm throughout these past 2.5 years. It's we'll just get a call and we'll match, and then eventually the babies will be here. We didn't think about oh no, we're gonna be at all these appointments. We're gonna need to know all of the bodily happenings and the medical terms and things about the birth mom that we didn't really consider because we're like, well, we're not physically pregnant.
Yeah.
But now that we do know her and we're, we are going through this process with her, we're like, oh, it's almost like, what a husband would do if his wife was having a baby. We're like, we need to know everything. We want to be there. We're like, but we got her like a pregnancy pillow, or like, doing all of the things. Yeah, which are things that we didn't think we would have to do, but also we didn't think we'd get to do.
Right. Yes, it is definitely unusual.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
Well, I have a question. After you have the babies, so I haven't done the math. You're gonna have to. What's the due date?
So the due date is August 30th. But with twins, they will likely be here July.
Yeah, that would be great. Well, can we count on you after they're born and after they're home and you guys are settled into a routine? Would love to get you back on, and maybe we can even get a quick glimpse of them.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah, absolutely. They seem pretty photogenic based off of the sonograms. They're like, sitting there. There's one picture we have of baby girl, and she's like there's a video, and she's like waving at the camera. So.
Hi, she knew it. Actually, I want to ask you: have you decided? You told us, what the twins are going to call their birth mom. What are they going to call you guys?
Yeah, so I'm going to be daddy, and he's going to be Pop. And for me, I've just always kind of envisioned myself as daddy. And then him being called Pop is actually really special for me because that's what I called my dad, and that's what my brother's kids call him. And so he's kind of taking on that like lineage from my family.
Very sweet. Very sweet. Well, guys, I kept you way past the 15-minute mark that we promised.
Oh, no, I'm so happy to be here with you.
Thank you. Is there anything else you want to say?
Yeah, I mean, I think my biggest piece of advice, is something that we already said. Anyone who's watching and is considering adoption, it is such a scary process, and it's one of those things where you're like, where do I even begin? Contact Brian, contact Gays with Kids, contact an attorney in your state. Just ask so many questions. There's no such thing as a stupid question.
Mm-hmm.
The more you know, the better. And
Network.
Yeah. I mean, that sounds weird, but like contact as many adoption professionals as you can. That it's I get it. A lot of them will ask for, some sort of deposit or retainer in order to hold your profile or whatever, but it's worth it. Do it. Even if you just do like a meet and greet with someone to get your questions and then they know you. And who knows who's going to one day be in a room with a birth mom and be like, you know what? I remember that couple.
I will actually share that real quick while we still have you. We actually did a meet and greet with a different attorney that was in the same state. And just the other day, because we were in their system and they knew us, they actually were going to asked to present us to an expectant mother. But because we were already in like a match situation, we not only didn't want to obviously apply, but we were able to, through that connection, share that opportunity with a friend of ours and a couple who is now currently navigating adoption. And so there are other opportunities for just doing the meet and greet.
Yeah, exactly. And a lot, again, check with, an attorney in your state because every state is different with the laws. And so we don't want to like advise anyone on anything here. But for us, that was really beneficial. We talked to every attorney in Arizona. We talked to every adoption professional. And we were just like, hi, we're Blake and Matt. Like, please remember us. And ultimately, it worked out. So
that's awesome. Great advice. You guys, I don't know if you've been watching the comments and the hearts going up.
Yeah.
Clearly, everyone wishes you guys well, as do
Well, thank you all.
Gays with Kids. And so we'll look forward. You'll keep us posted.
Yes.
And we'll look forward. And someday you're going to have an Instagram takeover showing a day or a week of dads.
Absolutely. Oh, yeah. Buckle up, guys.
Yeah. All right. Thanks again, everyone. Thanks, you guys. Blake and Matt,
thank you
for watching. They can obviously, anyone who wants to follow your journey can see you on social media, here on Instagram. Any questions for these guys or for how we can help you become dads, whether through adoption or surrogacy or foster care or foster adopt, please leave a comment or send an email to dads@gayswithkids.com. Have a great night, everyone. Thanks for joining us.
Bye.